Um, but essentially, I walk into Homestead One where I'm going to have my security office at this point, and I set my computer down, I set all my stuff down, and I go back out to my truck to grab some water or something. And I walk back in, and I'd set my computer. I have like a laptop fan thing that I set my computer on top of
Hmm.
the just help it keep cool, kind of thing.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I just set everything there on the table. I hadn't plugged it in or anything like that. And I walk in, and my laptop's open and it's on. And so I'm like, this is one of the things that we describe to all the time. Like things move. Um, Stuff like
Open
this
up.
happens where we're like, did I like open that before I walked out?
Yeah.
But
So there was that other story about the glasses, right?
yeah,
The where
so it's same
the glass
same same exact thing. Like I lost my sunglasses, and then 3 days later I'm walking in and they're sitting on the steps walking in.
that you've walked past 900 times and knew
Yeah,
that they weren't there.
yeah, and like,
So,
and it wasn't just me that walked by there. Someone would have picked them up,
right. It's
and they
just
were
it's
yeah
so funny.
yeah, and they
The
were pristine, right? And so I'm sitting here going, oh, okay, you got to be kidding me. And then um, I want to say that was actually in conjunction to something that Eric experienced um, within a couple days or something like that, like a day or two. And he was actually having an interaction with some of the insiders talking about that specific type of phenomena that we experience. Yeah, it was so the night before that happened, Eric was talking with a bunch of the insiders on our website about um, there's one of the stories way back in the Sherman days where the wife is experiencing this type of stuff in the same building that this happened with my laptop, by the way, where she's bringing in like groceries and she's putting them away, and then she walks out, then walks back in, and all the groceries are back in the bags, type of thing. And she's going, "What is going
That's
on? Like, am I
right.
losing my mind?" Right? And then what happens, and the story that Eric was relating to the insiders was where the farmer's out or the rancher and he's fixing fence, and he's got one of these mechanical post hole diggers. So this thing's like 75 pounds. And he sets it down someplace and goes to fix some other fence or do something, and then comes back and the post hole digger's gone, or the post hole pounder. I can't remember which exactly. But um, he then comes in and he's mad. He's like, okay, who moved it? His at that time he had a nephew living there, and I think one of his own kids or something. Um, but essentially, all these people are sitting around the dinner table that night, and he comes in and the rancher's mad. He's like, I'm trying to get work done, and who's moving my stuff? And
Right.
everyone's like, no. And this actually prompts the wife to go, you're not the only one experiencing this kind of stuff. And he's like, what? And, because these are at that time, salt of the earth people, they're just trying to make a living and work in their ranch, right? So they've been kind of putting stuff outside their mind, like, no, whatever. And but essentially, like a couple days later, he finds this piece of equipment like up in a tree. And I'm not talking like a little 20-foot tree. It's these giant cottonwoods that we have out here on the ranch. These things are
Hmm.
40, 50, 60 feet tall. So it's and then kind of come back to what I experienced with my laptop. And like Eric was talking about that kind of thing like the night before with the insiders. And so it was just one of those things, like that kind of thing
It's a
happened.
synchronicity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the synchronicity is a great word for it. And it's actually been one of those things that we've talked to about as a team, and that's again why we're doing the website, to be able to
Hmm.
talk about this and give more of that full picture to everybody.
Right.
um,
Right.
and then another, and that's again why I'm working on that on my book, I guess, because there's so much stuff that now it's like, put yourself in the position of, if you experience something and you never know if you're going to experience it again. Sometimes it takes weeks or months, or at this point sometimes years, for some of this to come together. And that's where I've been really excited, because there's going to be some stuff you guys see in season 5 that for me was very personal because I experienced something like 2018, and all I have is a story at this point. But now some of the stuff that we're going to be showing is actually, I think, evidence that ties back to some of that stuff.
Oh, well, I really look forward to uh diving into that and what
Yeah,
that is when it comes out, of course.
yeah, and
Um
and and that again comes back to this one thing that I'm thinking of in
right.
regards to drilling. That personally, that happened to me too. So I think they're connected that way.
Well, so how much drilling did you guys do this year? I mean,
Oh, a
was
lot.
there but so was it one project that was spread out throughout the whole season, or was it multiple de- uh, uh, various site site starts points? I'm sorry, I'm too many
No, you're
alliteration
fine.
here. Um,
Um,
where was it that kind of thing? Because I think people want to know if uh, you guys really focused on it, or
mhm.
are you guys kind of still trying to figure out where you want to go in from and how is it going to be feasible? Are you drilling sideways now rather than in?
So I'm not going to go too in depth on some of that stuff, but
That's okay.
I'll say what I will say. Multiple locations. We did explore multiple locations. Um, we're still trying to, like what we said in season 4. We're still trying to do uh, like a precision search right now. So it's not like we're doing crazy excavation or anything like that. But I will say at the drill site, it was pretty intensive, and we were there for quite some time.
And
And you're going to see a lot of that.
have you guys? Why haven't you? Why I've been dying to ask this. Um, that there's some sort of a cave system on the ranch. Why have you? So, is there a reason you guys haven't explored it more on the show?
The cave system.
The Yeah, so they brought Carl the Crusher into it.
Okay, so that's actually something that we're still trying to confirm at this point.
Oh,
Is
okay,
we've gotten some information, and we do have some evidence that show potential cave systems, right?
so it's still
But
still hypothetical.
yeah, so technically it's still hypothetical at this point. But that's again why we're doing some of these exercises more in depth that what you're going to see this upcoming year too.
I was gonna say because who knows where those lead and if they
Hmm.
could get you closer into where you're trying to get to, and I don't know if that's how it lines up where it could be possible, but
Hmm.
it could be worth exploring. If
Yeah,
they
and so and what I'll say too is like I just noticed a comment, and this guy's correct. I think it was up at McConkey Ranch is where Carl the Crusher actually went. Um,
Oh,
but
was it not even on? Was that
I
not
don't think
on?
so. I don't think
Oh,
so. So and
sorry.
Carl, he's a good friend. I know he's been doing a lot of work at Mount Wilson Ranch down in Nevada, and I
Yeah,
know they
Mount Wilson. Yeah.
cool stuff. They found some pretty cool stuff this last year. He told me so. Um, and I've been trying to get down there, but it just hasn't worked out just yet to go do some work with Carl on that. But what I can say is the basin as a whole, there are a lot of underground water systems that we do know about. So, and we do know something like that is underneath the ranch.
Yeah.
But to say that there's like caves or something that like what people are thinking of, I'm sure in their mind is like something that we can go walking down. I know we've got a lot of stories of people that walk into these caves and they can go for hours and hours, right? And they're just walking down these tunnels. We haven't found anything like that. We have found some pockets, if you will, in some of our exercises, but nothing that we've been able to really get into like that.
Got
Um,
it. That
there
makes sense.
have been there are some things we I would say we have some good leads. at this point. But you're going to see some of that process of and what we're trying to do with some of that. But I can tell you in some of the surrounding area, I have been in caves that are in the basin. And again, this isn't just obviously the Skinwalker Ranch is the big focal point, but again, like
But
if
it's the
anybody,
basin in general.
yeah, the basin in general has a lot of stuff going on. Um, I've been on multiple hikes and multiple treks, or if you will, and exploratory hikes with some good friends. Like Tom, I've gone up with Tom
Yeah, you're
multiple
gonna bring me on one, right? When I
times,
go out
right?
there, and you're gonna bring me on the
Yeah, if you
ranch,
ever
and
make it out here.
I'll fly out fucking tomorrow.
um, this week will be a little bit hard. I'm kind of being stay-at-home dad this week, so
I know you actually told me that. It's so
yeah,
cute, man. Uh, I'm so glad for you. Yeah, I'm so glad things are working out for you. Um,
yeah,
so I think there's actually this big. It just dawned on me. Um, did Awakening get canceled?
yeah. So I just found out myself on
That
Friday.
sucks.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. It's not a terrible April Fool's joke like some people are thinking.
Yeah.
From my understanding, and I don't know other from some secondhand information at this point is that there was some IP issues that came up, and
Oh,
they're trying to work on getting some of that resolved. From some of
okay.
the information I've been given,
So,
um, so there's still a possibility that it'll come up. So I'm not sure though.
well, yeah, I
Uh,
saw because I saw that, and it was like literally like the headline was, "Hey, this is not an April Fool's joke. Like,
yeah,
please don't misinterpret." Like,
yeah.
you know, because
So
a lot of my friends in the UK were
mhm.
were were really excited.
Yeah, so I'm sure like I'm gonna speak with Tom again sometime this week. And we're always thinking what can we do and so I'm sure with some of the success that they had because Tom and Travis and Eric and Bryant they went on some like a mini tour last November in some American cities and
Mm,
they had a lot of success there. Um, so I'm I'd love we've all talked about that. We'd love to be able to go over and see the fans in the UK or Australia because we know we have a huge following over there. And
absolutely do.
um, we've had people I've personally spoken to people at the front gate from Australia
Yeah,
and from other countries because of what they're seeing on the show and people are spending all this money to come and see us and I'm like I think it's a disservice to those people and the fans over in these other countries that if we were able to get over and try to do some events for them, if we don't do it,
it's
So
it's a thing that like even I'd say every UFO podcast, um, at least every good one,
mhm,
the top 3 or 4 countries are always United States, the UK, Australia, and Canada.
mhm,
They're always there. So you know, North America, yeah, it's always number one
mhm.
in ratings and all like that. But these other countries have huge markets for it too, and you guys are just as big around the world. I mean,
Oh yeah,
so you guys are history's number 1 show, right?
yes, I believe we're number one now. I have been for a couple of years, I think. I know that for a year or two we were kind of bouncing or kind of trading places with
Oak
um,
Island was it or
Oak
something?
Island, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, we're it now. We're the biggest show that they have right now.
and
I know I know we're big in like Brazil and South America. We had a couple of people during Phenomicon come up that were from South America, and they were all telling us everybody goes nuts for it down there too. Like everybody's talking about it down there, which I wish I knew Spanish. I'd go down there too.
yeah.
Um,
Well, Phenomecon's another. That's one that I have on my list this year as a
mhm,
um as a won't miss opportunity.
yeah.
So I can't wait to hear about that. And
Oh
So
yeah, and it's
you
gonna
would
be so much